Bitcoin continues to do nothing as we continue to wait and to watch, wondering, what is Bitcoin going to do next? And in this video, I want to discuss the bullish case for Bitcoin, the target, $24,000. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Hit that like and subscribe on the way in. Let's jump into this Bitcoin video. So real quick, everybody, we know what's going on. This is a symmetrical triangle we've been tracking. We're going to really, I'm going to break down some really cool data for you in this video. And a lot of it has to do with the $17,000 target. I did a video yesterday. I think it was yesterday. I think that's most likely. I think that's most likely case for Bitcoin, the $17,000 target. And that plays into this bullish case for Bitcoin. That's what I want to break down. So let's do it. Let's tell the story here. So I want to zoom out on the daily chart. We mentioned this before. I don't remember when, it wasn't that long ago in a video, this upper trend line here, right? We had a swing high and then we put in a higher high. And it's very similar to what happened back here in May of 2019, a swing high, a higher high. What makes it similar on the daily chart is if you kind of zoom out now, and you go to the RSI and you can see some bearish divergence. As Bitcoin back here in May is putting in this higher high, Bitcoin's actually putting in a lower high right here on the RSI, some bearish divergence. Same thing here, higher high on the charts, lower high on the RSI. Now back then in May, this bearish divergence right here as that swing high was happening could be very bearish just for people doing charting, if that's all you're looking at, right? And, you know, I was just looking at some videos back here. I was saying that it was more likely for Bitcoin to kind of come down. I think I was talking about the $6,000 range for Bitcoin, and it didn't happen. It just didn't happen. And I want to show you something really quick from this time frame back in June 2019. Take a quick look at this clip. It's a bearish move. Many people have been watching, including us on this channel. But I'm not sitting here saying that we're going to get a retest of the bottom trend line. It's something we are looking for conservatively. But I'm also not saying we're going to get a similar move that happened in this last rising wedge where we're breaking through the bottom trend line, through the upper trend line, and hitting an upward bullish target of around 11,400. But that is if Bitcoin followed that last busted rising wedge, if we get another busted rising wedge. So we did. Bitcoin did. I didn't think it was going to happen at the time, but Bitcoin, let's look at the chart. You know, when I did that video, we were probably somewhere around here. Bitcoin turned that into a busted rising wedge. And not only did we hit the 11,000 some targets, we actually surpassed that, going to close to $14,000. Very bullish move for Bitcoin. Here's the thing. We started looking at this the similarities of this bearish divergence in terms of the RSI and what Bitcoin is doing. We just saw that video talking about that busted rising wedge, which played out. And we look at the charts now and we're seeing it just looks very similar. Now, mind you, this isn't really in play yet as a rising wedge where you're having at least 3 touches to a trend line. There isn't, right? So we really need to see how this plays out right now. Is Bitcoin going to make a move to the upper trend line, get a third touch? Is Bitcoin going to just kind of come up a little bit and get a third touch right here, right? We don't know. We have to track that. But what's most important is to go back to this chart and analyze, well, from this first swing low, right, to this swing low, what was happening there? Because if we dissect the chart, this is what we're looking at. The similarity is this swing low, this first swing low, to now, this is where we are, but where's this next swing low going to be, right? This is defined now that we have historical data. This was, and this is the daily chart, this was it. This was the second swing low, and we got to bounce from there. Now, what's happening there? And we can take our Fibonacci retracement, and you could probably guess what's happening there. Now, what you do, the wick here on this daily chart is ridiculous looking, but we can take it from that swing low to the swing high right there. And you can see Bitcoin didn't even touch into that Fibonacci retracement. But what we want to see is this swing low. We want to see it be a higher low above or at this support area, the Fibonacci retracement. And so what we can do is we can question, well, say we got rid of that ugly wick, because that's giving us a lot of room, right, for error. If we just got rid of that and we took it all the way to that candle, you can see Bitcoin still saw support at the Fibonacci retracement. So I think it's safe to say that Bitcoin put in a very healthy higher low right here from this swing low. We're looking for the same exact thing right now on the Bitcoin charts on this daily chart, which is a healthy higher low. So Bitcoin's here right now. We don't know exactly where the higher low would come in at, but this is what we need. We need Bitcoin from the Fibonacci retracement, swing low to swing high. We need Bitcoin, and we talked about this, I believe, in yesterday's video, to basically consolidate somewhere in here, 17,600 down to 16,900 or so. Now, what's interesting about that is if you go back to our area, our breakout target area to the downside that we have on the symmetrical triangle, right here, right down here in the $17,000 to $17,100 area, that's our target to the downside that I think is very much in play, very much possible. I think it's likely. But if we take it now on the 6-hour chart, that swing low, here's what it looks like on the 6-hour, to the swing high, where we need to see support, you can see Bitcoin, that target area is confluent with this entire Fibonacci retracement support area. It's that area, which is 17.6 down to like 16,900 that we just looked at on this daily chart. So coming into this area could be very bullish for Bitcoin, could be almost an identical setup that Bitcoin had back in May into June of 2019. Zoomed out on the daily chart, this is what that looks like. Bitcoin really played out nicely to just a $14,000 area. Now, to have some fun with this, you could kind of mess around with different charts. We can take a speculative scenario and say, well, if Bitcoin were to, from this similar swing low to that swing high, do something similar, right? We can take that chart, what that looks like, and we can transpose it over here on Bitcoin, and let's see what that might look like for Bitcoin, if I can get it. And then here we go. So from this swing low, let's take that down to like right around there. You can see this is Bitcoin hitting $30,000. Now, will Bitcoin surpass the target that we do have, which is down here, right around 24,000? It could. I mean, last time Bitcoin, on that chart we were just looking at, Bitcoin surpassed the 11,000, I think it was 11,500 or so target, 11,400, and we went to 14,000. So that could happen, but if we're really talking about targets, and I'm going back to this daily chart now, and we're zooming out, we know we have a macro target, and it's 24,000, right? So this could be the case for Bitcoin to hit 24,000. The $24,000 target comes from this macro inverse head and shoulders that we've just been tracking for so long with the $24,000 target to the upside. We're almost there. I mean, Bitcoin's not that far. $6,000 away isn't that far, and it really all could start with what's happening here. Bitcoin would need to really do identically what it did back in 2019 with this setup, bouncing off this key Fibonacci retracement support and just blasting off for phase 2, for another leg up before consolidating back down. What does this chart look like, right? At the end of the day, that's what we don't know yet. We have our Fibonacci support area right here. We have this lower trend line. We don't know where it's going to end up putting in that second low so that we can actually chart this. Maybe it is down here, right? And Bitcoin's coming down and touching like 17,100 right here. And then we have a trend line from that bounce like right there. So we can chart it something like this. So we might have more of a rising channel than we have a rising wedge back in 2019. But the concept is the same. Bitcoin comes down and bounces off of this area and breaks through the upside trend line of this channel. Now, this channel target is just about $24,000 as well to the upside. So if this channel breaks to the upside and Bitcoin breaks through this upper trend line, breaking the $20,000 area confluent with this trend line, $24,000 is in play. That's the story. If you're just crazy bullish, you want it to happen, that's what it would look like. And that's what it could look like, even with Bitcoin coming down more, hitting that $17,000 area in the short term. So that's what, this is a very speculative video, everybody. But when we start analyzing historical data, we start getting a sense of, wow, if we can remain patient to let these things play out, these are the types of moves that could happen, and you want to anticipate these things. So I want to show you one last thing here. If you look at this chart right now This is the daily chart. You look at this RSI. Look at the similarities there as we're getting those lower highs on the RSI before the breakout. And then we go over now and look at the RSI. If I can get there, you can just see the same exact type of thing. These lower highs on the RSI before a potential breakout getting ready to happen for Bitcoin. On the daily chart, you can even see oversold here on the stock RSI, quicker moving momentum oscillator. So a lot of upside in play. Lastly, the weekly chart, really interesting to see this too. What was happening here, on that area that we were just talking about before this run to 14,000, Bitcoin hit a resistance area in overbought, came back down, right, before making that jump to 14,000. Getting a very similar setup for Bitcoin, coming back down on this weekly chart, maybe getting ready for that jump. Keep in mind, the stock RSI back then, all during that move, was also an overbought. Quicker moving momentum oscillator. It's not as reliable as the RSI. What is good is we are getting some type of consolidation here on the RSI. So we're going to continue tracking it. I wanted to throw that out there. This is what's in play for Bitcoin on the very short term, what to watch out for. That Fibonacci support area and the target area for Bitcoin, all in here, right? $17,000, that symmetrical triangle target, and then the Fibonacci retracement support area, 17.6 to, let's just call it 16.9 to 17. What happens there? If Bitcoin falls through that, I'm going to start having to do videos basically talking about my second heavy buy zone. Remember, $17,000 is a light buy zone for me, buy the dip zone. Heavier buy zones come in below that. So we'll track it. We'll see. Hit that subscribe, hit that like. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.